10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
One day, Jack Dietz, who was a producer, brought in this magazine called the Saturday Evening Post, and it had an illustration of this dinosaur attacking a lighthouse. It was by a writer called Ray Bradbury, whom I grew up with. I met with Jack Dietz, and he felt that I could contribute to his project. It was later, of course, called The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Well, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, I had to create a mythical dinosaur, which was sort of the main menace, called the Rhedosaurus.
It's unbelievable.
Everybody confuses it. They think that the Rhedosaurus is Ray Harryhausen with a saurus put on the end of it. The Beast went through many different changes. The first one had sort of a round head, which I wasn't happy with. I changed that to more of a head like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I think that is it.
I didn't want a body like a typical dinosaur, so I gave it a scaliness and a different contour. We only had one model. That's all we could afford. Many times our characters had to be cannibalized. I think the Beast later in another film ended up as a dinosaur. The octopus tentacles in one of our films ended up as dinosaur tails in the next film. The budget on The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms was very low. It was made independently as a private project. The picture was made for $200,000. Today you can hardly buy a costume for $200,000. They had employed Eugene Laurier to direct the picture and do the art direction. We seemed to have a good knowledge about each other's profession, that he left me alone, and I did what I thought was right, and then they would see the rushes and incorporate it in the picture. I found that working by myself, where I have no distraction of anybody, is the best policy to use for concentration. That's why every film I did, every inch of it is my animation, except in Clash of the Titans, I had to have help. When you're doing animation, you have to project yourself into the creature to keep him in character. One does try to go through the motions themselves and think of it in terms of what the physiognomy of the Beast was.
Do you hear that?
We incorporated Ray's lighthouse sequence. We made it in silhouette rather than in broad daylight. We felt it would be much more menacing. We felt it would take away some of the flaws that might appear in a low-budget animation picture. So there were several reasons to make it a night shot instead of a situation in broad daylight. I had to devise new ways of putting the spectacular effects of the Beast in New York City and mingled with the various people. I had to do it in a different way than it had been done before. So I devised this sandwich concept of photographing the actual set and projecting it on a small screen and then putting the Beast inside. And through a matting process, I could sandwich the Beast so it appeared to be in New York City behind building. And that was the basis of my whole process that I continue to use throughout my 16 features that I made.
Ordinary bullets have no effect, and a method of destroying the awesome creature has not yet been formulated.
It didn't have an ending, so I worked with Eugene Laurier and the writers in creating an ending, which we made on Coney Island with the Scenic Railway. I brought in the idea of having the hero go up to the top in order to shoot the isotope into the beast's wound. And they incorporated that into the script, and that made an exciting sequence, too. Eugene Luria always said that I always make my monsters die like a tenor in an opera. After it was completed, Jack Dietz, who was the producer, showed it to Warner Brothers, and they wanted to buy it. I think for something like $450,000. I guess he had regrets many times because the picture made millions. Well, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, I have fond memories of it. It was my first project, my solo effort of creating low-budget pictures, so I think it all worked out quite well. Hollywood is noted for glamorizing the actors, and I tried to glamorize the dinosaur as well.